Can you find me soft asylum? I can't make it anymore. The man is at the door. Hello, YouTube. This is part 2 of the heart attack. I was 33. I was working for a car dealership as a driver, parts, cars, people, doing okay. Was breeding dogs at the same time. I think I had 17 dogs at the time, plus a couple of pups that were older, but on the ground. I was getting rid of them. I also worked at my father's liquor store the night that the first heart attack I had that night off from the liquor store. I came home from the dealership, went out, took care of my dogs, went in, took a nap. I woke up, and when I woke up, I was just out of it in a strange place as far as my physiological well-being. And I was 33. I was saying I was having a heart attack. I knew that whatever was happening to me was totally wrong. I had problems catching my breath. I kind of had a little tingling in my arm and stuff, but I'd had that and while driving, and thought it was, just the circulation cutting off, and who knows. I smoked like a fiend. Way bad, smoked like a fiend. I didn't eat any good foods. Everything I ate came out of a box. Very rarely did I cook for myself. I don't know if I did, but for the most part it came out of a bag or a box or a styrofoam container. It doesn't explain why at 33, because I was not at all sedentary. I was in good shape. I had a big belly, but I was in good shape. Took care of my dogs every day. You got to carry those giant pails of water, 5 gallons of water, 100 yards out to your dogs, and deliver them to them so they can drink. I was in good shape. I wasn't in great shape, but I was in good shape. The simple thing is, the doctors didn't know why it happened. And they started trying to figure out why. I had test after test after test, and I was overwhelmed by the whole thing. And within a few more months, I had the second one. And the second one in a few months or whatever was. The doctors were stymied. They told me I was doing better and this and that, and boom, I had another one. Third time I went in and had the little up into your chest called catheterization, and they put it into your femoral artery and run a thing up to your heart, and they release dye, and it feels really cool actually when you're doing it. You're all whacked on Valium anyway, so anything feels cool. But they put in stents and they went wrong, and I had more heart attacks. I had 6 in a 3-year period. Finally they cut me open. I had open heart surgery. I had a quadruple bypass, and I went between the 5th and the 6th heart attack, I felt like an invalid. My bathroom was upstairs, and every time I went up to take a piss, I quit the smoking. I never ever quit smoking completely, but I was way down, and I was eating good, and nothing was going better, and I was gaining stuff. And then it turns out the stents they put in grew scar tissue, so the scar tissue clogged my arteries, and so it was a big mess. There's probably a cool lawsuit in there. Any lawyers out there, see what you think about it. Ever since then, I've had a new lease on life, but I've been wandering in a forest lost ever since then. That was in the year 2000. I my doctor said I could never work again, and I was collecting Social Security, and believe me, at 36 years old, collecting Social Security is nothing. Um, and So now I'm in the position I'm in now. And the funny thing about it was when I went in for my heart surgery, the dudes I lived with, I went home to my parents to recuperate, and I talked to my landlord, and she said everything was cool. I had a lease until November and this and that, and I called in December, and it turns out I lost everything I ever owned. My roommates had gotten thrown out within like a day, and no one told me. My landlord never called me. It was about a month and a half after I had my surgery, so I would have never been able to, properly take care of stuff. But at least if I knew, I would have been able to save my stuff. But it turns out I didn't talk to her for the third month after, and she said that they got thrown out. And I asked where my stuff was, and she said, "Well, they told me you were coming to get it." And I said, "I had a lease with you," and then went on, and I ended up getting a little extra money out of her, but I can't ever replace anything I own. So basically, in the year 2001, I started my life all over again. Basically, what I had was a few photographs and the clothes off my back, and that was it. And now comes the year 2006, and I'm crazy. I'm just doing this for therapy because I have no idea. You have any questions, by all means, comment, ask, call me a weirdo, who cares? But that's the rest of my life story. That's number two. This one kind of ran longer than I thought, but there's a lot covered that didn't even come to light. But recuperating now, my doctor says I can finally go back to work, but finding work is really hard, and not lose your Social Security by doing so. And you don't want to keep getting the money. It's that you want to be able to go back and be able to get it later if something happens. So you have to be really careful about how you work and stuff like that. That's why disabled people, I'm disabled. They're in a bind. What I'd like to do is become financially independent, but wouldn't everybody? So, um, that's my second part two story. That brings me to here. There's a million blogs in between my life story that I could touch on. Anybody want to, excuse me, ask any questions about it? I'm candid about everything from why I got thrown out of Catholic school to my drug binges to who I partied with, people I've met. I met plenty of famous people I partied with. Well, never mind. But, ask. I'd like to know that somebody gives a shit if, I live or die or whatever. And that's why I'm on YouTube, to talk to the world and see if the world has anything to say back to me. So, please do.